Hey, DJ Mikey, Mike in Direct Sound, and we are doing a quick, just kind of a review, a little talk about some Gobo projection. That's right, we've done a video in the past about Gobo projection. Today it's all about CHAUVET Gobo projectors, and actually a follow spot as well, which gives you the capability to project Gobos in this particular follow spot, so that's really cool. Also, my take on print your own Gobos. So I just started testing on printing your own Gobos, and I'll give you a little insight on what I found out so far, and maybe it'll help you get a little further along. I'm not going to be doing any lights turned on today, but I'll show you what we got going, and maybe I can explain a little things, and you can kind of take it from there. But hey, take a look at that. So here, let's take a look at the lights, show you what we're going to be working with. I'll show you the pros and cons of some of the lights that we have, and yeah, here we go. All right, first thing we have here is the Gobo Zoom 2.0. It's an DMX controlled Gobo projector. So great, you have some great control over it. Also, it has spinning capabilities, so you can rotate your Gobos with this particular fixture. This is one of the only fixtures that I know, LED-wise, with rotation. There might be one or two other ones out there, but this one's nice. A 15-watt LED source, so it gives you a pretty good punch. Now right here is the Gobo. It's about an 18mm viewable Gobo, and then it has a pretty decent gripper on the outside. Compared to the Source 4, ETC Source 4, Source 4 Junior, so you have a lot of real estate on one of those, okay? But if you use wide enough font, you probably get some really good output out of these things. So most of the CHAUVET fixtures all have about the same size Gobo that we're going to be looking at here, between 18 and 19 degrees, or 18 and 19 millimeter. Here's the LSF5. Now this is non-DMX. It's a framing spot as well as a Gobo projection. And it also has a spring-held Gobo in this particular fixture. Okay, so you have to worry about your gripper, inside dimensions and outside dimensions for viewable. It takes a smaller Gobo, about a 16 millimeter viewable with 20 millimeter outside. So this is about, the inside of this ring is the viewable, the outside is the gripper. That will work with this fixture. It's spring loaded, so this spring holds the Gobo into place, and so if you're using transparencies, it gets a little difficult to get the Gobo in there. 25-watt LED source, has some nice punch to it. And that's about max for this particular fixture to use your print your own style Gobos, just in a normal 100% output. It's still a little warm for transparencies. It does heat up the transparency. Here's the new LFS 75 DMX. Now this is a 75-watt Gobo projector and framing spot, and it has a really slick holder for your Gobos, which is kind of cool, and it has some unique size Gobos. This is a pretty little slick setup, really easy, slides right in and right out, and no spring to deal with, but you have to have the right size Gobo. This has a 14 millimeter viewable image, but the outside dimension on the Gobo, they actually cut square, but you have to be careful because if it goes outside the realm of the Gobo holder, which is sandwiched in like a little sandwich here, like a little squeezy thing, so it sandwiches it in, it might not slide through. So if you use a larger size Gobo, it won't slide into the little track that it has. But this is great for transparencies. Now, can you use a transparency with a 75-watt LED? Well, sure you can. You just have to dim your fixture down, and what's great, it has onboard dimming capabilities. And even when it's in DMX mode, this is a DMX fixture, you have dimming capabilities. Also, you have fan speed adjustment in DMX mode. So that's really slick. The follow spot has the same Gobo size as the LSF5. It has a nice quick removed Gobo holder that you slide in and out, but you still need to work with the spring, which is, springs are just a pain to deal with. I like the new little clamp style, so maybe if they make a conversion kit for this would be kind of cool. So people have asked me, hey, can you use an LSF 75 as a follow spot? Hey, you can use a flashlight as a follow spot, but your just use the right fixture for the right job. Okay, if you need a follow spot, there's some great features a follow spot has that a lot of other fixtures don't have. One is the iris control, really easy to use. You can use that with your hand, zoom in and out for iris, and that's basically what a follow spot's designed to do, and quick control of your colors with a nice cool keypad on the back. Now the size of it is fairly small for this particular 75 watt follow spot. Has some great output, but I wouldn't recommend using an LFS 75 for a follow spot because you don't have full control over your dimming, your color selection. But in a pinch, would it work? Sure it will. It has zooming capabilities. All of these fixtures have just about the same zooming all the way across the board. And that's a really helpful tool when you're talking about Gobo projectors. Take a look at the size of all these Gobo projectors. They're not that huge, okay? And they're fairly lightweight, so easy to use, easy to work with. A lot of you guys have been asking about print your own Gobos. Well, with all these fixtures that you've just seen here, you can print your own Gobos with them. But there are limitations and restrictions. With the Gobo Zoom 2.0, the small little gripper area makes it difficult to get the Gobo in there, but it can be done. The LFS5, it starts to heat up the transparency film and kind of warp or deteriorate the color, but in a pinch it'll work. And then depending on how you're going to set your Gobo up, you might be doing some reverse Gobos with black lettering projected instead of, so it might work for you. The LFS 75. If you run this thing 100%, drop the Gobo in, it will melt instantly. You have to dim it down to about half power, and it gives you a really decent, still decent look. Maybe just a little bit brighter than an LSF5, but it also gives you DMX control. It gives you more dimming capabilities. It gives you strobing capabilities. It gives you a lot of cool new features. That's if you're using it as a print your own Gobo. Okay, if you're not, if you're using a steel Gobo or a glass Gobo, man, that thing is going to have 75 watts worth of LED punch, and it's going to look amazing on the wall. Okay, the Gobos are still a little small. You don't get a lot of real estate with these, but you can do a lot of things with small Gobos. When it comes to print your own Gobos and using small real estate on your Gobos, so if you have really small real estate on your Gobo, the bigger and fatter the font is, the more lights that is going to go through, the brighter it's going to be on the wall, better chance you have on getting that Gobo to work. Especially if you're using super small font and you need to double up your Gobo to make it darkened out, the black out the black, the larger font's going to be easier to manipulate compared to the small font where it might overlap a little bit and look a little weird. So keep that into consideration. The ST follow spot can accept a printed Gobo, but you need to dim it down again. It's going to melt if you do it at 100%. So yes, there's options in a pinch to use. My recommendation for all you guys using Gobo projectors out there is purchase a steel Gobo. Steel Gobos are very inexpensive, especially if you're using them for dance floor wash. They're about between $12 and $20 for a Gobo. And if you use a custom Gobo, they start anywhere from $59 plus shipping to $300 or $400 for full color. So you kind of get, but you get what you pay for. You really do. There's also options out there for using video projectors and things like that. But then again, you're limited on different things. So my recommendation with a good Gobo projector, good output, know what you're going to use it for, gives you options, and zooming is probably one of my biggest #1 wants and needs for a Gobo projector, because I don't like changing barrels out or lenses out. It makes it real difficult for me. I always lose the lenses, and I don't have great lens management control. So many different fixtures, so many different lenses. Is this the right lens for this? That's just me. You guys might be able to manage a little bit better. Print your own Gobos. I went to my local Staples Center and I bought transparency film. This was about $70. Okay, $70 for 50 sheets. Okay, you can print multiple Gobos on one sheet. Okay, especially for testing. Okay, but so even if this was $2 a sheet, one Gobo for $2 to get you by in a pinch, not a problem. I think that's well worth the money. Okay, but the initial investment's a little high, but gives you options. Okay, Doubling up your Gobos, we talked about that. And all of these fixtures will accept it, but there are limitations. So take that home with you and know that, hey, I'm going to go buy a 75-watt Gobo projector. Just because it's LED doesn't mean you can actually print your own Gobo. Roscoe and Apollo, I think they have some new technology out there with Roscoe with the new cool ink HD Gobos. Ben over there, NLFX Pro, have those available as well for your fixtures. But it only works in a few, doesn't work in every. So, you know, check with the manufacturers to make sure that'll work with them. All right, so this is DJ Mikey Mike. Just a quick overview on some Gobo projection. The CHAUVET little series here that I have. Hey, all of those things, like I said, you need an arsenal of Gobo projectors. There's not just one that works for everything. My recommendation for Gobo projection is get 3 of them, at least 3. 2 for dance floor wash and 1 for image projection. Okay, you're going to be a lot better off. The balance of your system is going to look right. The output of your fixture is going to look right. So if you bought 3 LFS 5s or 3 LFS 75s and use 1 for the main image and then 2 for dance floor breakups or dance floor patterns, washes, you'll be happy with that. Okay? Depending on the output that you need and the rooms that you use, it's all up to you. Hey, you know your rooms better than I do. Look at my videos and see what I use and go from there. You know, I'm really tired of those Source 4s with that heat. It is just burning. But you know what? It's a good staple fixture. It works really good, but it's just too darn hot. You know, we want to get our Gobo projectors up there as high as we can, so safety's not so much an issue in most cases, but it draws a lot of power, and they're hot as heck. So start looking at LEDs and different light sources, and hopefully you'll have a great opportunity with that. So it's DJ Mikey Mike, just doing a quick overview on some Gobo projectors, give you an idea to look at some of these fixtures here. I use them all the time. I think they're great fixtures and great for your arsenal as well as mine. So, got any questions, leave them down below. Make sure you leave a comment, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace!